thank you everybody for taking the time to join in and learn more about the Next Gen Tennis League. I'm going to let Yves speak first about basically the story of how all of this came together. So welcome everybody, and Yves, take it away.
Okay, well, welcome to everyone. Anyway, we're really excited about this league. Like Mike and I, during that little break that we had a chance to spend some time and share some ideas. And then realizing that traveling is going to be a little bit of a problem, for most of us. And also noticing that we had problem to go outside and travel in the first place, even before of that. And we realized that we needed to do something for the junior, because if we're not doing something, then we just felt that there's not really much reason to keep training and things like this. So we were kind of looking in different kind of option, looking into, okay, ITF ranking and provincial ranking, Canadian ranking and all that stuff. And what we realized, with the college coaches, they were not really excited about our ranking system. They basically feel that it's very unreliable. Some years it's unbelievably good, and some other years it's not so good. And so basically, to make a long story short, we kind of find out that basically the best way to go about it, it's to use the UTR. And so we were discussing, and we were basically thinking about, okay, how are we going to do tournaments and all that stuff. And then we kind of came up with the idea. It's okay, let's say if we start from scratch, really don't even think about what is there, and then how we would bring tennis together. And so we felt the tournaments was a little bit lack of energy. We felt that junior tennis was not a lot of fun and everything. And so we just decided that it's probably more fun to play in a team. And then you ask everybody that played in a team, played college, they all really excited about their experience. And they said it's the most fun that they had playing tennis. So we said, why don't we bring this into tennis? And then and that's basically how we did the idea kind of formulate. And then we decided okay, how can we provide an opportunity to former players to play tennis, when they're finished with college, or pro players that are in transition here and everything. So we kind of put all these ideas together, and then we realized if we bring the former college players, they have a level that our junior doesn't have. So which is providing opportunity for them to compete. And so we, little by little, we started to kind of think about the league and how it would be beneficial. And so that's a little bit the reason and how it kind of all unfolded. If Mike wants to continue from here, it might be.
Yeah, I think the opportunity to get to train with the older players, to get to train with some of the players that have had the college experience, it's really positive, because these players are bringing their experience from college to the team atmosphere. And I know when the players from college come home and train with the players at ORC, at Ace Tennis, at the various tennis academies, they're bringing a very different, not just a level of tennis. They're encouraging their team. They're providing a lot of positivity that they learned in college that was expected of them. And in the juniors, these players are not always acquiring these skills until they've been through 1 or 2 years of college, and they start to understand what is expected of them. So to try to bring these qualities to the environment, I think it's really positive for the junior players.
Yeah. So so we basically started to think about, okay, this thing needs to be fun. It needs to have energy. And so this is where we felt it was really important, to bring business owner, people to come in to, to be part of this. And so make this a kind of a real good team atmosphere. And so that's how we kind of designed the whole thing. And then on the same time, we receiving complaint from college coach that receive our players, and they feel they're not good team players. They're used to. And we were thinking about well, how can they develop being a team players playing pro tournament players where there's nobody in the crowd, in the crowd. And sometimes you go to see a tournament, you see the parents clapping shyly, there's not really a lot of fun into it. And and so we just felt like, if we can bring that energy into junior tennis, it'll be fun for the players. It'll be fun for the parents to watch. It'll be fun for the team owner. It'll be fun for so it's kind of a much more likely to be more fun to watch also. So this is basically the main reason of all of this coming together. And then we feel very, very good with the UTR. What does that do? It's like, yes, you can play tournaments and get your UTR up, but what we find out, it's like there's just some significant match that you can play by playing tournaments. So what do we find out? It's like you can play a tournament and win 2 easy match, and then maybe getting a tough match. And if you lose, then you had 1 significant match. So if you go play ITF to get your UTR up, you might be spending something like $5,000 to go for 2 tournaments. And if you're lucky, you can get a few points, or you can nudge your UTR up, but you're going to have spend $5,000 every 2 weeks to do that. And if you're unlucky and you're playing someone really good to start to, you probably won't even get anything. So so we just felt that it would be better to have a league basically in-house that we can basically bring locally, where you don't have to spend all that money and staying in hotels and everything like this, but still being able to kind of create a profile that's going to be really showing your level basically to the college players. And also the college coach also, on the other side, they're looking for players that's going to be team players. They're looking for players that compete. So therefore, if you have on your resume, it's very easy on the UTR, you can see how much the players play. And if you play a lot of competitive match, you're more likely to compete better, or being more familiar with competition, which is basically the great thing about UTR. It's so we can provide this on a weekly basis and in a fun way, where you don't feel that all the pressure is on you all the time. It's going to be a team. You can lose your match and win as a team. You can win your match and lose as a team. It's so there's a lot of ways to kind of finish with a good feeling with this.
Yeah, that's great. I think if you want me to, Yves, I can speak a little bit about the format and
yeah,
how it works.
Let's do that.
Perfect. I'll try to answer some of the commonly asked questions. One of the questions I get a lot is the league for juniors? Is it for pros? Is it for, who is the league for? Is it for boys, girls? Yves was talking a lot about the UTR. Basically, the league is for competitive tennis players. As long as you're a competitive tennis player, the league is for you. You can be a junior, you can be a girl, you can be a boy, you can be an adult, you can be playing, on the pro tour. The league is for everybody. And that's really the great thing about the UTR, is that it, everybody has a rating, and, the system tries to, basically get you what Yves was saying. It's competitive tennis matches. And so, if you're playing number 5 on your team or number 4 on your team, and you're going to play against another number 4 on the other team, it's your best chance at getting a competitive match. And for sure, there's going to be weeks where, certain players are out. So, and number 4 might get to play up that week, and he might play number 3. And so he might get to play a tougher match, or, somebody else's number 5 might be out. So he gets to have a better chance at winning. But the system is really designed to get competitive match play. So I think that's what's really important to understand about the league. So it is a co-ed league. It's not just for juniors. It's not just for adults. It's for everybody. The first season of our league, which will run from September to December, it is for kind of under 14 players and up. So you have to be turning 13 this year to participate. But we do envision that by January, we will be having possibly a junior-only league, for players kind of age 10 to 16. So, I see some people online right now listening in, and, they might not be old enough for the league right now, but, by our second season, which takes place in January, those players will be able to participate. So I'm glad you guys are listening in for more information. For those of you that are aware of the NCAA format, which is the college format, we basically mimic exactly this format. So it's 6 players on one team playing against 6 players on another team. You basically arrive at the site with your team, with your coach. You're going to practice for about 30 to 35 minutes as a warm-up with your team. Then we will do the announcements. We announce the teams, and right away at that point, we will start with doubles. And so there'll be 3 courts of doubles, and as soon as one of the teams have won 2 of the doubles matches, that team solidifies the doubles point. At that point, we get into singles play. So one team has a number 1 against the other team's number 1, 2 against 2, 3 against 3, all the way down to 6 against 6. And so you're going to play singles. Singles is 2 out of 3 sets with no ads. And it's very important to understand one difference from college is that in college, once one team has won the match, all of the matches stop. Okay, so once one team in the NCAA has accumulated 4 points, they've won the kind of the tie, the overall match, and the other matches generally stop. But that won't exactly happen in our league, because what's really important in our league is that the matches get completed so that it affect the UTR. So we will have a system where you'll jump into, a shorter set for the 3rd set, or, if you split, you're going to play a 10-point tiebreaker. But we do need the matches to finish because it's very important for the UTR rating of our juniors, which are playing this league for that reason. Each team will have a coach, so there will be on-court coaching, just like the NCAA. There could even be up to 2 coaches. So there could be a coach, a head coach, and a volunteer coach as well. So there will be on-court coaching. Like Yves said, each team will be kind of owned by a local GTA business, and the owner is definitely encouraged to be there, be a part of it, make an even better environment. In terms of the format for the season, so we have 3 15-week seasons. The first one is September to December, as I discussed earlier. The second one will be January to April, and the third one is May to August. So each season is 15 weeks. Basically, there'll be a 10-week regular season where there's 6 teams, so you'll play against each team twice, and that will determine seeding for the playoffs. Once we get into playoffs, you'll be guaranteed at least 3 more matches in the playoffs, and that will determine the championship team.
You can talk a little bit about the finance also, why, some people, I know we received some feedback from people, and people said, okay, it's expensive, it looks like very expensive. Yes. First of all, we have coach that are paid on the team, so they're not just voluntary coach. So we want people to be serious about it. They're not just kind of there just for just shooting the breeze, but we want them to be part of it. And so that's going to be one of the things. We have some referee, that we're going to have 1 referee on every site. So therefore, there's some expense involved, and also some of the top players, they get money if they win versus if they lose and stuff like that.
Correct. So the league operates, very similar to a proper tournament. Like you've said, there will be a referee on site. There will be a site manager on site. There's team coaches that get paid. Basically, if you play first or second in the lineup, you are playing for money as well. There will be players that have an ATP and WTA ranking. If they have a certain ranking, then they're eligible to make even more money. And like we said at the start, this is very important to make the league run well so that the juniors get the full benefit from the league. If you break down the cost of the league, I mean, it's basically the same cost as taking 1 private lesson a week in tennis. I know Yves has coached a lot of great players, and I've been coaching at ACE for a long time. And I'm going to very much encourage all of the students I work with to join the league. I mean, the value in getting the opportunity to play in the team atmosphere, it's the OTA competitive structure. It's a challenging one for some of the reasons Eve brought up earlier, which was, getting quality matches. What are the matches worth? Being involved in an individual event where there's no on-court coaching, there's nobody to support you, versus a team atmosphere where you got the coach, supporting you, you got your team supporting you, the benefits of that, the benefits of the learning. And so, at the cost of a private lesson a week, I think there's so much learning for the players to have and experience through that. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Eve. I mean,
well, just to add to what you're saying, the older players, the people that has done something in tennis. I mean, sometimes they'll finish their match earlier, and then you're going to have your match playing, and they're going to be there supporting you and helping you maybe to figure out the players. And this is more valuable than any lesson you can take. You will come out of there a much better and a much better players. And so we really do believe in all of this. So that's why we feel it's really important that you take this in consideration. Also, we were talking a little bit earlier, if you're not doing this and you're really not really going after your UTR, then you would have to go into doing your ITF. And then to have a decent ITF ranking, you will have to go on the road quite a lot. And then we're talking you can talk, it's an easy 50 to 70. I have two children that they play these tournaments, and it's easy per person, 75,000 and more per year, only on traveling costs. That doesn't include coaching and things like this. It's just going there, staying in a hotel, and do these things. So if you start to count, and I doubt that it's going to get cheaper. I think traveling is going to get much more expensive in the future. They're talking about 40 to 60% more. So if that's the case, it was expensive before. Now it's going to become almost impossible for most people. So that's why we feel it's really important that we kind of start things like this, where we have much more things at home that we can provide the same opportunity to get some college exposure and so on. So that's basically in a nutshell, it's pretty much all of this. In the website, we put a lot of information there. If you have some question and everything, I think would be great that you can post it. We can answer some of them. If you feel that we didn't answer your question, you can always contact us. All our contact numbers are in the website. And so you can always find more about what we're doing.
I think one more thing that's important to understand that I always get a lot of questions about is how are the teams formed? You're not playing for a club, okay? You're registering for the league, and once you register for the league, basically it's the top 48 players that register for the league will get in. Like I said, I hope that by January, that by May, we have more opportunities for more players to play. There's nothing to go against registering for the league. If you don't get in, you get refunded your deposit. So there's no risk to register. I've had players ask me oh, am I going to get in? Well, you register and there's no risk to register. How the teams are formed is we're going to have an exciting draft day. That's where the team owners are going to get together with the team coaches, and the players will be drafted. So, it's not going to be a team Mayfair or team ORC or team ACE. I mean, you're going to be on a team with a coach, with a team owner, with 7 other people. And so this is going to be a great experience for everybody involved. So there will be a draft, and you will be drafted to a random team. I think with that being said, like I can start to address a couple of the questions that have been sent.
Yeah, one thing also I think it's important, like, obviously we're kind of living in a time of a little bit of uncertainty, like, in terms of safety and everything. So some people were asking, like, if we're going to have crowd watching and things like this. I mean, obviously that would be better, much better. But the fact, like, that depending of what's possible, like, sometime we might be having to do certain things in a very, very safe way. We don't want this to put anybody at risk through this league, like, so there's going to be a lot of people involved in things, but we will make sure that we follow the regulations. So therefore there's no risk unnecessarily taken into this.
Yeah.
So do you have some question?
Yeah, like one of the questions is, are there going to be a certain number of boys or girls, or is it, I mean, we are doing this strictly by strength of competition. So like I said, it's going to be the top 48 players that get drafted will get into the league. So it's just going to be based on that.
Yeah. Some people, I have one question about, like, basically if the girls will, like, the girls and boys will play against each other, like, so we have like someone like Catherine Sebov. I don't know if you know, she's 250 in the world, and she was going to be playing in the league. So she's going to play against the number one of the other guys and things like this. So it's not like a boys against girls. Actually, it's a great benefit for the girls, I think, because obviously, like, it's like sometime, that'll give you the competition to keep improving, keep looking and going forward. Sometime, like, you get at your top of your age group and there's nothing forward anymore. And I think these leagues will provide like great opportunity to keep going forward. And even for the top male junior, like, like the top under 18, like the players that we have at the top, they'll be very, very competitive to the top junior in Canada.
Exactly. How high does your UTR have to be able to play? You're a UTR. We don't stop at any level. I mean, it's the first season will be the top 48 players, and the only way to ensure that you don't get selected is it's to not sign up for the league. We envision in the first season that we would think most of the players that register will get in. If we have an influx of players that register, we will do everything we can to have 2 leagues. I mean, it just really depends on the registration. So it's not for boys, it's not for girls, it's for junior tennis player. And so, yeah, I think we will do everything that we can to have as many people playing the league as possible. Does the UTR recognize multi-gender matches? Yes, it does. UTR is, I mean, I've been running some UTR matches at ACE myself, and they've been verified matches, and you can pit boys against girls. You can have adults against juniors. It's completely, it's just a rating system. It doesn't discriminate.
That's right.
Oh, here's a good question. How many matches are you expected to get? So basically it's a 15-week season. So you have 10 weeks of regular season, and you have a minimum of 3 matches in the playoffs, somewhere between 3 to 5 matches. And so there is going to be weeks where the player needs to sit out because there's 8 players on a team and only 6 players are going to play. So that's something where you're going to communicate with the head coach and say, this week I have my national selection tournament, and that tournament's really important to me. So, that week might not be the best for me, or this week I'm going away on vacation. I'm going to the cottage. I won't be available. And so, and then, there's going to be pro players, and a lot of the pro players, they know they're going on tour for those 3 weeks. They'll be away. That's going to give some other players the opportunity to play a little bit more. So, you're probably going to be guaranteed somewhere between 12 and 14 matches as a junior when you sign up for the league. How are the coaches assigned to the teams? I mean, basically we're going to have coaches apply for the position within our league. And then we're going to help the team owners to select a coach. So
Yeah.
that's how that process will happen.
And then there's what ATP and WTA players you mentioned have signed up. We have Martin Baran. If you follow on our website, we actually constantly put all the people that signs up, like, we put them up and we kind of promote them. And so it's kind of making a nice picture and everything. So it's like, that's the way we promote our players. But we have Martin Baran, that is a professional players. And also we have Jesse Flores, that is also a professional players.
Catherine Sepov.
Yeah, like Catherine Sibov. So and there's other players that really want to play, and just due to scheduling and things like this, one player's actually, we talked today, and she really wanted to play, but it's too risky for what she's planning to do. The problem was the fact that she would have to come back to Canada in between tournament, and because the quarantine, she might have to stay longer on the road than coming back, and so she'll be a sub. But that's another WTA players that we have on the roster.
One of the questions is where you register. This is not an OTA event. As of right now, we are not in partnership with the OTA. Kartik, I've been in talks with Kartik about the league. I mean, he definitely support the idea. He loves the idea. As of right now, it's very tricky to coordinate this kind of UTR system with the OTA system, because the OTA doesn't have a rating system. They have an under 12 ranking, an under 14 ranking, an under 18 ranking. I mean, we're gonna have boys against girls. We're gonna have men against boys. The OTA doesn't currently have a system that supports that. They have more the old-fashioned system, and the current way that things are going, it's more UTR based, where you have a rating where the college coaches can actually compare, a kid in Canada to a kid in America, to a kid in South America, to a kid in Europe. It gives them a good idea of where the player stands. So Kartik supports the idea. I've been back and forth with him, but there is no support. So to register for the league, it's basically done through our website, which is ngtl.ca.
And you go on the right side, there's a
blue. It says register here.
Yeah, it says, yeah.
Somebody was asking, how do you envision the under 10 to under 16 junior teams to be formed? Will it be draft based as well? I mean, that part of the league will hopefully start up in January. We haven't nailed down the logistics for that yet. I do envision it being a draft-based event as well. I mean, I think there's a lot of positives to that. So that's the vision. That's where we want to go. But I cannot tell you exactly how that will work, but that is the vision we have for that. Where are the matches? So basically, this is a GTA league. We want to be kind of hosting this league, between Toronto and Burlington, in that area. It could be ORC, it could be Cedar Springs, it could be a Mayfair site. This is what we're looking at. That it's not crazy distance to travel. Your time. It's 6 to 9:30 or 6 to 10 on Saturday night. You're not going to go spend the whole weekend at an OTA tournament. Friday night, Saturday all day, Sunday all day. This is, again, one of the reasons we're doing this league. So it's very important to understand that it's a lot easier to plan when you're going to play every week. So that's an important part to
we felt that a lot of parents, well, me included, it's very taxing. You have one child playing a tennis tournament, you're basically, the whole weekend is about this child. And if you have another one, then too bad. So that's the reason why we thought that this format would be a better format for the parents.
Somebody asked, what happens if a player gets injured? I mean, of course, if you're going to be out a couple of weeks, then, you just continue on afterwards. You let your head coach know, and we try to allow you more opportunity to play. Obviously the coach is going to avoid sitting you out further. If you get an injury, and you're going to be out for an extended period of time, then the league is going to do its best effort to, of course, find another player to pay the remaining league fees associated with the remaining weeks, and we're going to help you to obviously, we don't want anybody to play injured, and if somebody's going to be out for an extended period of time, then we do our best to help you deal with that situation. Somebody asked, are you looking for sponsors? I mean, the league has had an unbelievable support since we started. I mean, we have one of the team owners on right now listening up. So yeah, we are looking for a couple of more sponsors, but we already have 5 of the team sponsors filled. So yeah, I mean, if there's some more people out there that are willing to get involved with the league, I mean, we'd be happy to talk to them. But we have had a really good support so far for our league in terms of team sponsors. I think oops, Eve is muted. Hold on, I will unmute him once I find him on here. There we go.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
How are the draws generated? So it's basically you're going to play every team twice in the regular season. There's 6 teams. So you play every team twice. You're not going to play always at one site. We're going to mix it around. You're going to play it all. There'll be 3 sites. For example, it could be, Mayfair, ORC, Cedar Springs. So, one Saturday you might play at ORC. Another Saturday you might play at a Mayfair club. I mean, we're in talks with them right now about securing a site there. And then another week you might play at, ORC, whatever. But yeah, you're going to play in one of the 3 different locations every week. You play each team twice. And once the playoffs start, the regular season will determine the seeding. There'll be 6 teams. So 2 of the teams will get a bye in the first round, and you'll be guaranteed 3 more games in the playoffs. Somebody said, so junior must be turning age 13 by December 31st to register. Yes. So if you're 12, but you're going to turn 13 in October, this is fine to register. Like, you need to be an under 14 player this year. So as long as you're turning 13 this year, you're under 14 player, you're eligible for the league in September. In January, we do plan to expand and have a second league that will be a junior only league that will be for, can be for player 10-year-old all the way up to under 16. We will encourage our under 18 player to play in the top league, but yeah, this is the plan that we have.
Yeah, I might have induced some people in error in here, but thank you for clarifying it.
If anybody else has any questions, I'll give you about another minute to ask them. I encourage you to go on our website, ngtl.ca, and try to get some more information from our website. I mean, I think we have everything posted there, but if you have questions, you can always feel free to reach out to either Eve or myself. What I will do is I'll type in the chat our website as well as our email addresses where you can get more information. And I'll just put this in. So somebody asked, does that mean a 10-year-old could play a 16-year-old? Like, I guess in our junior league, it does mean a 10-year-old could play a 16-year-old, but keep in mind that everything is UTR based and rated. So if the number 6 player on a team happens to be a 16-year-old and the number 6 player on the other team happens to be a 10-year-old, it's because their UTR is very similar. So their UTR might be a 6.2 and the other one's UTR might be a 6.4. And so the whole idea is to get competitive matches. So yes, in our junior league, which we envision to start in January, this could be a possibility. It's very similar to our league now where, a 15-year-old girl could play a A 22-year-old boy, but it is UTR based. So the level, we're trying to make this as competitive as possible. So the level, trying to match it up as close as possible.
Yeah, it's pretty even. Like, like you look at like if you look at tournaments and everything, you can, like, you can have a good idea, like, the competitiveness. It's not make sure that you win because you're a little bit higher than the other one, but what it does, it's like it almost ensure a competitive match. And so that's what beneficial for players. That's what the coach wants to see, lots of competitive match. They don't want to see, like, like just being beat up 6-0, 6-0, beating up someone 6-0, 6-0. They want to see some battle out there, and that's what the coach are looking for.
Right.
And that's what make a good show too, for everyone.
So, I mean, thank you for everybody for taking the time to join in. I think this was hopefully informative to all of you, and hopefully you got something out of it. What I will do, if there is no further questions, is...
There's one thing. I mean, if you don't register, you're not going to get in for sure. So you guys, like, I mean, I think like everybody, like, like at least at ORC, like the elite players, they should all get in. I think, like, you guys are very, very, like at the level. And I think the same thing with Ace. I think we talk about this. That's the reason why we did this. And I feel like, that that's made for you. So you guys, like, I think the best thing to do, it's registered, and we'll go from there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, what I'll do is I'll just leave you guys, for those of you that want to stay on for 30 more seconds. I mean, Yves put together a kind of a cool little video that kind of showcased team tennis and what it's all about and how fun it can be and the atmosphere. So, thanks for joining in, guys. What I will do is
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I'll just kind of play this video for those of you that want to stay on, but thanks everybody for joining in. Hopefully it was informative for you.
Hey boys, this is what we worked for all year, boys. We worked for this every day, this fall, this time of 100. We're not used to that. Let's go out there, let's give this crowd a show. It's Ohio against the world today, boys. Let's go. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's go.
Awesome. Good job with the video, Yves.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks guys for joining in. Again, our website's ngtl.ca, and so you can check out more information on the site. So thank you, everyone.